chickens, that's all they need, I think, is grass. Now the cows, we're not really going to be getting into that. Oh, nice. That was nice. Yep, let's move it a little closer. Okay. Yeah, I keep forgetting how tight this one is. The pipe just doesn't stick out very far. Listen, if all you had was 100 acres like this, I'd keep that combine, but that's not what we're going to do here. So it's a nice combine, a beginner. But not the kind of operation we're going to have. You know what I'm going to do? I don't know if he'll make it all the way back. Well, it doesn't really matter. Wow. Yeah, look at 16, 17. The other one around 14 miles an hour. Plus triple width, so this thing is really looking good. Look at this. I just love it. Look at the seats all done up. Not sure that top opens. It's got a sunroof on it. Okay, let's go finish off that straw, and then we got one more field to pick when we're done with this. But like I said, we're going to plant canola. Oh, wait a minute. Oh my God. What am I planting? Huh? Oh, I forgot to look. No! Is that what we're planting? Okay, we just switched to canola. Oh, I'm not sure, because I hit the whole button, but I was on a different part of the tractor. I get a feeling we were planting wheat. We just switched, so we will do the rest and then leave it on canola. Yeah. My mistake. I'm glad I thought of it. I'm telling you, we're going to plant canola, and I didn't even look. Oh well. Remember, I'm doing several jobs, plus thinking about other things. Sucking air. Okay, let's get this done. Yep, Willie is catching us. I mean, Buster is catching us. If we would have had a lot more to do, we probably would have had to stop him, and that would have been dumb. But I just love it. One going here, and yes, looking good. I'm really happy with the ranch now that we made those improvements. Yeah. Yeah, we won't be doing anything until we have a lot more money and a lot more fields. But then we'll do. I'd like to get trees planted along a lot of these fields. Everything we own, we're going to plant trees along and stuff. There's no reason not to. We're going to plant a lot of blue spruce and a lot of Douglas fir, because we can use them for the big ones. We can cut on a regular base and use them for construction. Another thing you'll see when I put them up, the difference between, just watch this. Okay, look at the trees over there, okay? Real nice, right? No, it's not realistic. Trees don't grow exactly. Oh. Whoa, I see. Now look at the trees along that I planted. Yeah, no two trees are the same. Because in reality, no two trees are the same. Yeah, I know. What am I doing here? I was looking back and missed. See, so that just absolutely, that will be corrected eventually. Yeah, I told you we had a ranch. We had like 400 acres, and we had about 90 acres of trees. In fact, my dad bought the place. This is funny. I mean, not funny for the people. The guy that was selling the 400 acres was losing it. He didn't have the money to pay the mortgage. Okay. Now, so my dad had the money, buys it, right? No problem. About 2 years after we were there, you know, we used to go hunting, and like I said, we had a section of 80, 90 acres of woods, and I mean, beautiful trees, never really paid attention. I was just a kid, 12, 13 years old. So we went hunting one day, and my dad says, look at these trees. In fact, there were a lot of Douglas fir, blue spruce. This was in western New York. And my dad says, you know, I'm not sure, but Jesus, maybe nobody's logging right now, and maybe the price is down, but I almost think that we've got some money here in woods, right? So this guy loses it. I mean, he's losing it, and he sells it off cheap because he can't pay the mortgage. Anyways, to cut a story short, my dad gets in a logging company. There was one nearby, I don't know, maybe 25, it was a mill. They buy woods and they cut. In fact, that's where we learned. A couple of times we put up some buildings. They would come and cut our trees, and then cut our logs, and then the wood would be ours, and it'd be like half price what it would cost you for the same wood. I mean, nice heavy beams and stuff. Let's say 8x8 beams, nice and long, because Douglas fir and spruce. That's a nice thing about them. They will grow straight up 100 feet or more, and the wood is just phenomenal because it's beautiful and straight. So you get nice big pieces for, especially putting up big commercial buildings, barns, and that type of thing. So anyways, he sells the land. I mean, they come out to, not the land, the wood. They come out to see the wood, and the guy says, I'll give you whatever the number was. It was more than he paid for the ranch, more than he paid for the farm in woods. The guy that had it was second or third generation. He'd been in the business. He didn't think he had woods. I just don't understand it. Maybe he thought wood should be more mature, and now companies, because they needed a wood real bad, were willing to cut trees that were, you know, 10, 15, 20 years smaller. I don't know. All I know is he never even thought of it, and it paid for the place. My dad, now, he did nothing. They come down. My dad went around. They went around with a paint can, and a tree had to be a certain size. And if it wasn't a certain size, so they marked them all ahead of time. I'm sorry. They marked them all ahead of time. And by the time he sold the place, by that time I was in the Army, and he sold the place, the woods were ready again. So because he had kept everything under a certain size, well, I was 13. By the time I was 18, 19, 5, 6 years later, there was tens of thousands of dollars worth of woods already ready to harvest again. So anyways, so trees are good for a lot of things. I mean, go check out price of wood right now. Making everything out of plastic, because you got to be rich to afford wood. Let's go see what this guy's doing. Yep. So, true story. Can you believe it? Third generation. I mean, they own the farm, they own the woods. They must have, in 3 generations, they must have logged it several times. And he never thought of that before selling. I don't know. Now, he didn't run the ranch for a living. The guy, he was in charge of the local highway department, you know, blacktop and all that. So, I mean, he had a good job, he had good benefits and stuff. Maybe that was it. Maybe he really wasn't in the ranching and really wasn't paying attention. But I remember how bad the family felt, that he was that he was going to lose it and sold it off because it had been in the family for 3 generations. You want to know the beauty of this place? It's 1 mile outside of town in western New York, where real rolly hills. It's on top of the hill. You can see the whole valley, the whole town, and everything. It would just, people would stop with their cameras and take pictures for postcards and stuff like that. The scenery was just gorgeous. You know what? I feel bad because my dad eventually sold it off. I feel bad that I never really looked into maybe buying it and keeping it. This thing's having trouble with it, turning around. Okay, we need to go dump this. I don't know. My guess would be we got maybe one more load here. Maybe a little bit more. We'll see. Yeah, you know, you get busy with other things. And eventually I got into the real estate business, became a broker. But by that time, people had bought it, and I'll tell you, I did look into it once. It was for sale, but like the price was like, I don't know, 6-8 times what it was when my dad sold it. So maybe that was part of it. Couldn't really afford it, you know. They had other things going. But now I wouldn't buy it for one reason. I moved out of western New York. I moved down to Florida, now to Texas. Got tired of long winters. I just love the weather in Texas and Florida. I just, you know, so that became, I got tired, you know, so I said, hey, part of it is the adventure. Part of it is, I'd been spending a lot of time in Florida, so I knew South Florida pretty well. You know, the story on that, I moved down there and my God, the prices were nuts. I mean, an old corner garage where in Buffalo or in Texas you could buy for, let's say, rundown, used to be a gas station, you maybe buy it for $100,000. In Florida, you'd pay $1 million. It just, but a couple of years later, guess what? The whole market, of course, it was nuts. People buying $500,000 or $600,000 houses, and they lived in, I mean, they worked, you know, one worked driving cab and one